Hello and welcome to the Nothing Files. This is Nick. I appreciate you joining me. Now, as we look at 2018 as a new year, obviously one of the things that I'm always most interested in is horror films. And I want to look at what we know that's coming forward, as well as what we've seen come previously in the last year. Now, there has been a lot of hope in the independent horror scene when we look at movies like The House is October Built, as well as what Adam Green's done with his Hatchet franchise, as well as Digging Up the Marrow. And believe you me, I would love to see a Digging Up the Marrow sequel. So Adam, if you're watching, just please, 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 I can't wait. Now, I've weighed in throughout the years with a bit of difference when it comes to rehashing old horror franchises. I love my 80s slashers, but certain ones work better than others when it comes to rebooting or continuing them on for a more modern audience. Now, obvious standouts are going to be your Jason Voorhees, your Leatherface, your Michael Myers. And the reason for that being those characters ostensibly have much less personal affectation, much less personality when it comes to them. And of course there's standouts. You look at what Kane Hodder did with the Jason character, really giving a lot of personality, creating that Jaws-esque shark-like approach. And it's fantastic what they've been able to do with basically a mute slasher, a force of nature. But you look at characters like Pinhead, like Freddy Krueger, that are the actors within their makeup, their personality standing out, and that becomes a bit more difficult. Now, while I'm excited about Paul T. Tyler, from what I've seen in this trailer, will he have the gravitas, will he have the overall stage presence that Doug Bradley did? I don't know, that's hard to say. I would hope so, because I don't want to think that these horror tropes, these horror characters that I've loved throughout my entire life are completely dead because their title actors don't want to play them anymore. But that gets us into a unique conundrum. Now, Robert Englund's recently come out and said there's an actor that he would like to see take up the Freddy Krueger mantle. And before this, I might have been a bit more apprehensive because you look at what Jackie Earle Haley did, and don't get me wrong, I like Jackie Earle Haley, but in the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, I never liked his Freddy Krueger. I thought, yeah, they made him more realistic to a burn victim, but they made him look like a hamster wearing a hat. And while Freddy was always the child molester, they made him a straight-up child rapist, a child killer, which was fine if you want to be aggressive about who your slasher is. But then they hinted throughout the movie that perhaps he was a bit special needs. And that took away from me a bit who Freddy was. He always wanted to be the smartest guy in the room, and that was his downfall. He thought he was smarter than his victims, and that always belied the chance for his survivor girl to eventually defeat him and make it on to the sequel. Now, when you take that away, you sort of undercut what really motivates and who is that character. And while there's ad nauseum things that could be said about the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, that's the one that stood the most out to me, stuck in my craw, and really made it to where it's the least rewatchable of any of those films, in my opinion. Now you take that to what they've done with the Friday the 13th films and the most recent reboot, and you don't have any of that because you don't really need to change Jason's motivations. Even in the most recent, I believe, 2013 Platinum Dunes reboot of Friday the 13th, you got Jason a bit more as this survivalist, kind of the earth character, but it was still Jason Voorhees. It seemed completely in sync with who he was from the second film forward, even though they basically comprised the first three films in one. But there was never any question of motivation, of who this person was, or sort of a reboot of what that character was doing. It made it familiar. You give me new kills, it makes it interesting. And honestly, with these beloved slashers, I just want to see them on screen doing what they've done before. And if box office is going to show anything, it does vacillate, but there is a love for this genre and what these characters uniquely bring to the table. No one's getting 7 to 8 films because it's completely played out, because no one's showing up. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Yeah, do I want to see ad nauseum again and again the exact same kills? No, that's on the filmmaker. And that's what's frustrating. You can't lump these characters in with each other's successes or failures. There was supposed to be a sequel to the follow up of Friday the 13th, but due to the box office performance of Nightmare on Elm Street, it was canceled. What was the big idea for it? Well, they were going to do Jason in the winter. We'd never seen that before. How does Jason deal with ice? And how does he turn that into killable objects? That's interesting. I haven't seen that. Is it completely new? That's not Jason in Space new, but we have that movie. It's a little tweak on a character that works, and just because you took a character that works and went farther off base with him, with an entirely new actor, with a bit of a different backstory, you can't base that on how another character that's been proven in cinemas with box office, how they're going to react, how they're going to draw. So, I'm pensively hopeful. As it stands right now, Robert Englund has said he wants to see Kevin Bacon be the next Freddy Krueger. I can get behind that. I think that Kevin Bacon has a deep range of depth, and that he's shown that he has a love for the horror genre. Kevin Bacon, one of his first films was the original Friday the 13th. Again, tying two franchises that have been married, if not by one film, but by the love of fans for over a generation now. Bringing him in as the Springfield slasher, I'm more than happy with. And I hope that there's a studio exec out there that somewhat listens to that. I don't know that it'll be Kevin Bacon that's the next Freddy Krueger, but I would love to see it again. I'm not done with this character, and I don't think a lot of fans are. We see the demand for Ash versus the Evil Dead, constantly berating stars, okay, we'll stop stealing it, we'll actually buy it, because we love these characters from our childhood. We love what they bring about. There's a reason that there's a new Hellraiser movie in the works. There's a reason that we don't go very long without clamoring for Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Halloween movie news. They just started filming the new Halloween reboot with bringing back, why can't I think of her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Bringing her back into the franchise, starting a new film with her. Filming started like 2 days ago. We're excited about this, and we continue to be excited about this because these are great characters. These are characters that deserve more screen time, that we all want to see what they have to do, as long as they're treated with respect, as long as they're treated with more than dollar signs, that it's a story that can continue to be told. So hopefully, as 2018 continues on, we will see more hope for the horror genre. We will see more hope for fandom in general, not just nostalgia, but new ideas moving forward. New ideas that are unique, and new ideas that can take previous horror tropes and elevate and continue them. And I can't wait to report more on that, and I hope that you're here with me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.